It's about the impact of COVID restrictions on the forthcoming council election in October and what we could foresee that may eventuate for that. And Mayor, I think that the council elections are extremely important because by my estimation, over 4 years, council spends round about $5,000 for every man, woman and child in the municipality. So, selection of candidates to become councillors is very important, and I'm sure we would all agree with that, Mayor, because better informed voters lead to better decisions when electing councillors, and local residents have the right to as much information about council candidates as possible. So some of the things that the VLGA was raising and still seeks clarification on is campaigning activities such as holding a campaign photo shoot in a public place. Is that still allowed? Holding a street stall or listening post, distributing flyers, conducting letterbox drops, door knocking, speaking to residents at the doorstep, holding an in-person public meeting or rally, and of course the fabled democracy sausage. And if that is not sad, Mayor, then what is? So all these things could be potentially restricted, and my question is to the Acting Director, is there, and this again, you know, as a councillor I'm great at explaining the problem but not necessarily coming up with a solution, but are there any ways that Council could mitigate these restrictions, the effect on, potential effect on the lack of information of council candidates coming up to the election, the effect on democracy? I'm sure I speak for most when I say that I want council to operate better and better, and local residents having as much information on candidates is important. Democracy is critical. Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Sprague.
Through you, Mr Mayor, Councillor O'Reilly, you raised some excellent points there. Unfortunately, very difficult for Council to answer because really they're for the VEC, those questions. The VEC is responsible for the conduct of council elections, and while we work very closely with them, most of that really does lay with them, and of course the restrictions we currently have around COVID-19 and pandemic. So I anticipate until some of those are lifted that there will be an impact. But we can certainly follow up with the BEC on your behalf if that helps and report back to councillors.
Thank you, Ms. Sprague. Councillor O'Reilly.
Yeah, just supplementary, Mayor, just to clarify, and sort of in response to the Acting Director, I do understand that those activities are not within Council's control. It was more along the lines of what Council could, or if Council could potentially compensate for that lack of information, if there was any brilliant or bright ideas that sprung up, because as I said, council elections are only once every 4 years. A lot of residents complain to me that they don't know one council candidate from another, and democracy is the fundamental underpinning of our society. So residents have the right to be as informed as possible. So if there's any ideas that come forward, I'd love to hear them. Thank you, Mayor.